Hi guys, it's Arsh, and in today's session I'm just going to be doing a follow-up on some of my previous videos that I've done over the last few weeks. Now quite a few of you have actually been in contact with me and saying, Arsh, okay, we've watched your videos, we like them, we think you speak some truths in them, and that's fine. But you've said that we're going to go into a recession and we're seeing everything contrary to that. And so I'm going to break that down for you, because what we're probably actually doing is seeing ourselves in what I would consider ourselves a mini bubble right now. So before we go into that, I want to say a quick hello, quick thank you to all new subscribers. If you're watching the video for the first time, welcome to the channel. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you watch a few more of the videos. Don't forget to press the subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I release a video, you get a notification of it. So let's get straight into it. Right, where do I begin? First of all, last week I did a video on stamp duty saying that they're going to release, they were going to delay the stamp duty up until 1st of October. Little did I know that last Wednesday, Rishi comes out, the Chancellor comes out and says, well, in actual fact, it's going to take effect from immediate. So they've given us pretty much a 9-month SDLT, stamp duty, land tax, break or holiday for properties up to £500,000 from now up until pretty much the 1st of March next year. So what does that mean? So as a home buyer, if you're looking to buy a property, if you're buying a property up to £500,000, you don't pay stamp duty. And this could be quite a significant saving for you. Previously, the stamp duty, land tax, the threshold was up to 125,000. So if you were buying a property up to 125,000, that meant you didn't have to pay stamp duty. Then it went from 125 to, I think it's 250, you had to pay 2%. And then there was pretty much a ratchet scale. So the more you spent, the more stamp duty you had to pay. It went from 2, 3, 5, and even up to 12 to 15%, depending on the amount that the property was worth and the value of the property. Now, Rishi has literally come out and said anything up to 500,000, which is equivalent to £500,000, is now zero. So, and if we look at the psychology behind that, what's he doing? He's trying to re-kickstart the housing market. He wants to make sure that the housing market doesn't go into a slump. And I completely get that, and I completely commend that. And the reason why I do that is because he is inevitably knowing that something is going to happen in the background, and he's trying to prolong it, shall we say. That's the best way that I can describe it. However, we've got to look at all the other factors in the equation. So first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. When a home buyer is looking to buy a property, the first thing that they're probably going to need, or quite a large majority of us are going to require, is a mortgage. Now, pre to COVID-19, lots of lenders were lending up to 90% or even 95% of the purchase price. So let's just keep it very simple. At a £100,000 purchase, they would have lent up to 90 or 95,000, meaning that as a buyer, I would have needed either 5 or 10% or 5 or 10,000 pounds to buy that property. Post-COVID, where we are right now, most mortgage lenders are only lending up to 80% of the purchase price, which means that I now need a 20% deposit, or on the example of a £100,000 property, I now need a £20,000 deposit. Now, if I only had the £5,000 or £10,000 deposit, the property is now out of my reach. It's now out of my financial reach. So it's all very well you giving me the stamp duty holiday or the break up until March, but if I can't afford it because I don't have that additional funds to put into the property, what am I going to do? So it's all very well them giving us something in one hand, but it's all reliant on what the mortgage lenders are doing. And you've got to remember, mortgage lenders are not stupid. The reason why they're not coming back into the market with a 90 or 95% product is that because they know that we are on the brink of recession. They know that we're on the brink of a housing market collapse. And I've said this for quite a few months. Mortgage lenders do not want to be over leveraged in their borrowing. So giving you an example, if the house is worth 100,000 today, and in a few months' time, when we go into a slump, or when Rishi and the government turn off the tap of all this free money that they're giving us, naturally, we're going to fall into recession and house is going to go down. I consider us to be, at the moment, with the market, with any market, we get peaks and we get troughs. Currently, we're going into a peak. And the reason why we're going into a peak is very simple. The government are pushing everything to keep the market moving. They've given us stamp duty breaks. They've given us grants. They've given us bounce back loans. They've also given us now incentives to keep staff on. But the reality is some businesses won't survive. And if we use an example of this week alone, John Lewis is one of the largest department stores in the UK. This week alone, they announced that they are no longer going to open their doors back in Grand Central in Birmingham, which is one of the main attractions of Birmingham city centre. So we've got a few attractions. We've got John Lewis, we've got Selfridges, and we've got Debenhams. Now, in Wolverhampton, Debenhams announced they were closing their store, and that was the largest attraction in Wolverhampton, which kind of tells you a little bit about Wolverhampton. Now, in Birmingham, John Lewis has said, we're not opening our doors back up. They've got one of the largest spaces in Birmingham. What does that kind of tell you about the economy? What does that kind of tell you? These are all telltale signs. So once you start looking at the consumer brands, once we start looking at the brands like John Lewis that's saying, you know what, guys, we can't sustain the losses that we've made. What does that tell you? What does mortgage lenders that's saying, you know what, guys, we don't feel comfortable right now at coming in around the 90 or 95%. What are these telling you? These are all signs to say things are happening. We are going to go into recession. It's pretty much like we can either get pushed or we can walk or we can get pushed. At the moment, they're walking. Does that make sense? COVID gave them the opportunity to walk. Lots of businesses have closed as a result of COVID. They've decided, you know what, enough's enough. Landlords are selling up. Landlords are worried about Section 24, the new tax for landlords where they can't claim interest relief. Yes, okay, we've got lower interest rates and some people may be enjoying the new lower interest rate payments. But that's only going to happen for so long. Remember, the government's pumping in so much money into our economy with all the different loans and grants. They're even saying that if we take our staff back out of furlough and we keep employing them, they're going to give us another £1,000. If we go out and eat dinner on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, they're going to take £10 off our bill. Now, naturally, all this money is coming from somewhere. Now, what happens when this money tap is turned off? What happens when Rishi says, you know what, okay, we've pumped enough into the economy, now it's guys for you guys to do your bit. Are the employers going to be able to employ their staff? Because previously, they've had that 80% buffer of the furlough payments from the government. Have they still got the same level of business to sustain that? If not, what's going to happen? They're going to start making redundancies. Unemployment rate is going to go through the roof. This is inevitable. We're going to fall into recession. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I've said that for the next few months, we will probably still be in this bubble where we're still on a bit of a mini peak. We're seeing that lots of estate agents are saying that they're really busy. And that's great because this new introduction of Rishi's SDLT scheme, that will help for a short while. And it will help some people that may have the funds to buy their next property thinking, well, in actual fact, I'm going to be saving a bit of money here. But then on the other side of it, we've got the other people thinking, well, in actual fact, if we know that there's a recession coming, shall I hold off and wait for the property prices to drop? So we've got two trains of thought. Someone thinking I'm saving money on stamp duty. The other person thinking, well, I may be saving on stamp duty, but I'm going to be making a lot more money if I wait for the prices to drop. So he's trying to introduce the SDLT to get more traction in the property market so that we don't go into the crash as quickly as they anticipated. And you know, that's a good strategy, but the reality is when we look at everything in a global scale, we're seeing lots more companies going to seeing lots more companies going to administration, lots of people laying off lots lots of jobs, so that the unemployment rate is increasing pretty much on a daily scale. It's a case of when we go into recession, not if we go into recession. I like the thought of the stamp duty holiday. Now, from a property investor's point of view, we still have to pay the 3% stamp duty surcharge. So previously, anything over 40,000 would have paid 3% on 40,000 up to 125,000. Then when it goes from 125 upwards, we then pay the stamp duty of 2% plus 3%. So we are going to be saving some money. So we only pay the 3% now up to 500,000. And that could be quite a large saving if you're a property investor. Again, you may be on the train of thought as, do I invest now? Do I invest later? Do I wait for the bubble to burst and pick up some bargains? Only you can decide. The one thing I would say is that, remember, when you're investing for the next 20 to 25 years. And in the market over the next 25 years, we will see fluctuations. Every time we see fluctuations, sometimes the market goes up, sometimes it comes down. So if there's a property and it's a good property, etc., move on it. If it's making cash flow, move on it. That's what I would suggest to you. There will be fluctuations, prices will go down, providing that you've got funding, you know that you can get in and you can get out, get moving. That's my suggestion. The only other concern that I would say is that with Rishi's announcement with the SDLT break, is that it's only covered up until a certain period. So they'll give you a 9-month period. Most property transactions take around 4 months, between 12 and 16 weeks. What happens if you miss the cutoff point? So you're very close to exchange, but you've missed because the solicitor is still waiting for searches, they're waiting for some outstanding inquiries from the seller's side. What happens if you miss that deadline? Are you now not going to be able to afford the property because you're now going to have to find the stamp duty? This is something that hasn't really been thought of. So maybe it should have been all transactions that started or are in the legal process up to this point will still happen. So I don't know, that's something I probably see them extending that deadline when they realise that it's probably not had a greater impact as they thought it would have. I think it will have a bit of an impact, but not a large enough impact for people to go out and start buying. And the reason being all the other reasons that we've mentioned in this video. One of them being the mortgage market. If people can't afford to buy because the products aren't there, that's a massive, massive blow to the government. The other thing that I should say is that it's a good incentive because it allows house builders to start building, but it's only really worth them building again if people can afford to buy. Now, lots of people are on furlough, lots of people are being made redundant. Can they still afford a mortgage? That's another question to be asked. So are we really going to get to this position that Richie wants us to be in, where we're going to become a nation of homeowners as opposed to renters? And that's the main agenda behind it. So hopefully that's give you something to think about. I do these videos to try and get you to start thinking about it in a slightly different way. Think of the logic behind it. Think of, the theory of what is he trying to do and the impact that this is going to have on the economy and also us. Other than the fact that he's reduced a bit of stamp duty, what else has he done for property investors? For property investors, if he was to come back and say, we can do this, this and this, we're going to be able to help a far greater amount of people because the amount of investors there are in the country. When we talk about investors, we talk about property developers, we talk about property traders, we talk about landlords who are offering their properties to the private rented sector. So if you looked at that in a greater scale, there are going to be lots more people claiming universal credit. If he helped the landlords pretty much get like direct payment like we did previously, going back to pre-2008, that would have been a massive scheme to help more people move from the unemployment into rented accommodation. Because at the moment there is a strain on council waiting lists because people are refusing to accept people on benefits because of the flaw in the universal credit scheme. But that is a whole new subject completely. And I've got lots and lots to comment on that, because with over 1,100 tenants, we've got the best part of 800 of them on benefits, whether it be housing benefit, whether it be a kind of sickness benefit or universal credit. So I've got lots of experience on that. If you want me to comment on that or do another video on that, more than happy to do that. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this session. As always, if you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them below in the comment section and I'll answer as many as I can. Finally, if you like this video and you want more content and you want more of the same or more content like this but in a different format, I've got a podcast which I release every Tuesday. It's called The Property, it's released every Thursday. No, it may be Tuesday, apologies. Yeah, it gets released I think it's Tuesday. Okay, apologies, I don't know that. That's really bad. It gets released every week, shall we say. And just so you know, these are all one take, so that's one of the benefits of me. I don't do this whole polishing thing. It is one take, and what you see is what you get. So release a podcast every week. It's called The Property Rebel. You can find it on Spotify, you can find it on iTunes, you can find it on Google Podcasts, you can find it on Stitcher, you can find it on SoundCloud. So pretty much everywhere. All you got to do is search The Property Rebel. Finally, if you're looking for property investment or property investment opportunities, and you're looking to buy a property, or you're looking for rent-to-rent opportunities, lease option opportunities, below market value opportunities, why don't you download my Property Investor app? It's the UK's first property investor app in the form property investment marketplace in the form of an app. So, like I said, we've got over 200 deals on the app, and they vary from all kinds of deals. We've got some deals that are circa 30 to 40% below market value on the app, and we do HMOs, we do single lets, we do blocks of flats, we do pieces of land, we do commercial opportunities, and the whole lot. So if you like the thought that, you can go to propertyinvestorapp.co.uk, or you can go to your app store and type in Property Investor, and you can download it there and then. So guys, hopefully you've enjoyed the session. Got any questions, feel free to ask below. If you've liked it, please press subscribe. If you wouldn't mind sharing it, that would do me a massive favour as well. On that note, I wish you all to be safe and well, and I'll speak to you all on the next video. Bye-bye.